Hey everybody, welcome to Season 2, Episode 1 of Afterthought.
Yeah.
But it's pretty exciting. We have a new setup.
Yes, we do.
We have some new chairs.
New little table.
Little microphone stand. We still have the same clock on the wall that doesn't work, if you're all wondering. This is still unplugged. So it's still...
You know, it's still the same time.
6:04 every single time we meet. Everyone's like, you guys meet at the same time every time. I know.
It's just an anointed time.
It's anointed time. It's 6:04 somewhere. And then we have this picture, which, by the way, you might want to take a glance at this because it may change. Now, what we did want to have this year for Season 2, we did anticipate a microphone for Faith.
We did, and a camera.
And a camera for Faith. Resources did not allow.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, we don't have money. So, we're hoping future...
Yeah.
God bless people out there going, you know what they need? A microphone for Faith and a camera for Faith.
We do.
We're gonna give.
We do, by golly.
We're gonna give, doggone it. We want to see Faith on there. We want to see it. So we're gonna give. And then if that doesn't work, then we'll just
do this right here,
and we'll edit it in. Right.
Yeah.
If you can see her right now, she has headphones on and she's thumbs up in it right now. Okay, so awesome. We're going to jump in here. The word of the year is freedom. But you've got a couple questions. Now, I know you went more random. I went a little more serious.
Yeah, I like the
so you could do random. I'll do serious.
Okay.
And then we'll jump in.
Yeah.
And I don't know what our timer is, but it's the one thing
That's the new part of
resources
Season 2.
couldn't afford.
We don't have a timer anymore.
I hate that, don't you?
Doggone it.
Okay, random question 1.
Okay, out in the wild, if you were strolling one day down the road,
Yes.
how many owls would it take for you to see before you think something's wrong?
2. Here's why. I've never seen an owl in the wild.
Yeah.
I've seen an owl in the zoo. I've never seen Have you ever seen an owl in the wild?
Yeah, no, I haven't either.
The other day, let me show you right now. The other day, I was walking up from the gym, and I saw a hawk. I deleted the picture. Never mind. I saw a hawk. I took a picture. I've never seen a hawk in the wild. A hawk. This thing was massive. I almost thought it was an eagle. You know, like
Yeah.
brown eagles. Like I was like, it's that big. It was sitting on top of the tennis courts by our house. The thing was massive. I've never seen an owl in the wild. So if I saw one owl, I'm looking for Harry Potter. If I see 2 owls, I'm looking for Ron Weasley and Harry Potter.
Yeah, for real.
Listen, 2 owls, something's going on.
Yeah.
If you're out there right now and you've seen an owl in the wild, I want to know who.
Hedwig is watching this and he just cringed.
I know my dad jokes are so bad. When you and Faith are like, idiot. But that was pretty funny.
It was good. I liked it.
Okay, here's a question for you. Wait, how many owls would you have to see?
I think I'm with you. If I saw 1, I'd be like, oh, that's a bit weird. If I saw 2, I'm like, I'm calling the government just to figure out what's going on.
Who do you call in the government?
I don't know.
Owl Patrol?
Animal control. There are 2 owls out in the public. I don't know.
I don't know if you've ever seen it before, but they are spinning their heads all over the place.
Yeah. For real.
Okay.
I call the Vatican, see if Jesus is coming back. Hey, is this in one of your books? I know you got plenty there. You got more than I got, so.
You call it Vatican. Okay. Important question.
Okay.
What important lesson have you learned in life?
It's okay not to win at everything. Yeah. It's one I still continue to learn.
Because our family likes to win.
We do.
Yeah.
We are very competitive. We like to win at everything. But at the same time, you don't win as much if you don't learn as much as if you win. You learn more when you fail. I'm the type of person, if I know, it's not even that I'll fail. It's if I know I'm not going to be the best at something.
Yeah.
I just don't even want to do it. But I'm trying to learn to outgrow that. But that is definitely something to learn. Because even if you aren't the best at something, there's no way you're going to grow and get better at it to become the best if you never try it.
Ooh.
So
That's a sermon right there. That's a sermon brewing.
It's good. Good stuff right there.
I like it. Okay, next question.
Next question. Okay. Who is your favorite underrated professional athlete? Doesn't have to be the best, just who's your favorite?
Favorite underrated athlete. My mind immediately goes to basketball. And I have to say Scottie Pippen.
Mm-hmm.
And I say Scottie Pippen because I think people recognize Scottie was good, but I think Jordan was amazing.
Jordan took the credit.
But
Jordan,
he was a good
well
team player.
deserved, yeah.
But I think Pippen helped make Jordan.
Yeah.
Jordan. Now Jordan was Jordan.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, all you LeBron lovers out there,
Jordan's
Jordan. I mean, in Jordan's prime, one-on-one, I'm sorry to say, MJ takes it. Michael Jordan would dominate LeBron. Here come the flood of emails. Oh my gosh. What do you say? Do you believe that?
I don't know.
Really?
I think Jordan's the greatest of all time. LeBron's just a tree with legs, so he's got size.
Okay, I gotcha.
That's the only reason, but
Well,
I'm saying Jordan's the GOAT.
So-
100%.
100% the go.
Yeah.
What do you think, Faith?
Travis Kelsey.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God.
That one hurt. That one hurt.
Who put Travis Kelce
I'll
on
say
the map?
Kelsey over LeBron, though.
Who
So.
put Travis Kelce on the map?
Mother.
Oh, gosh.
Taylor Swift. And we need a camera right now on her. This is the best. I would say Scottie Pippen. Or you brought it up for Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield, by the way, underrated. His commercials are incredible.
Yeah, when he's chilling in the stadiums, like the stadium's his own.
It's
Those are
great.
Underrated.
You know what I love about him? Because he's so scrappy. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
He's just like, I have nothing to prove, just to go out and win games. I think
Yeah.
it's amazing.
He's
Russell
a-
Wilson, incredible.
Yeah, I love Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson, like Broncos, shame on you. Russell Wilson's the man.
Don't bench him.
I know. Don't.
Broncos
Why are you
bench
benching
him?
him?
That's right.
He's working for you. I'm so irritated thinking about it. But I would say Pippen, Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, that's
All
right.
right. Serious question. What overwhelms you most in life?
I'd have to say when I have my heart set on doing something and it doesn't happen. Which if you have a child, you know this to be true. Sometimes you can have your heart set on maybe just relaxing and watching a movie.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just to fall asleep and things don't happen sometimes.
Most likely, if you ever have your mind set on something and you have a kid, don't.
It doesn't happen. You just need to learn to be loosey-goosey, go with the flow. Yeah, no, it's just occasionally when stuff like that happens with Levi. Levi's great. He's perfect. Really doesn't stress me out with that. I tend not to get overwhelmed or stressed out about too much. I am really go with the flow.
Yeah.
But sometimes I do get my heart set on things. And sometimes my heart breaks. So
But I would say this morning, I don't know if Faith knows this, but this morning, yes, Levi did say, Papa.
He did.
And I just want you to know, for the record, he said, Papa. So-
Papa Giro.
Papa Giro. All right, you got another question?
I do. I have one more.
Okay.
If someone was to write a story based on your life,
Okay.
what would you want the title to be?
The title story of my life would be, I had no idea, ... Because I feel like everything I'm doing, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I'm like, I had no idea I was going to meet Teresa, greatest thing in my life. I had no idea I'd have you and Alyssa, greatest things in my life. Marissa and Dustin, amazing. Levi, amazing. Anchor Church, amazing. Our staff, incredible. Like, I had no idea. I had kind of a picture of what I thought I would do, and God's like, dude, that's such a small picture, which I think is just an amazing lesson of who God is. We have something in store for us, and God's like, if you only knew. So I would think probably I had no idea.
Yeah. No, I like
Would
that.
be
That's
the,
good.
the story of my life.
I like how quickly you came up with that. I thought I was going to get like at least a minute of you just thinking about it because I wrote the question down. I don't even know how.
Now here's the question: if my life was a movie, who would play me? George Clooney.
I knew you were going to say it.
Obviously. Obviously, which, by the way, Faith, I don't know if I told this story. Did I tell you I met George Clooney? Best thing I've ever seen in my life. I mean, just like his beard was like perfection.
Yeah, this was Ocean's George Clooney.
It was Ocean 13 George Clooney, and I don't think he was a little stubbly, but it was like he was good looking, and he was like, "Hey, John, want to hang out?" I was like, "Of course, George." Travis Kelsey. Pastor. Okay, shifting gears.
Yep. All right, so we got the fun and the serious questions out of the way.
We did.
Now I think it's time for week 1 of freedom questions.
Which, by the way, how cool is that logo?
That's cool.
Dude, Faith designed it. I'm like, I'm getting that tattoo.
I like it. It kind of looks like your tattoo.
Yeah, I know it does. It might have been intentional. If anyone wants one of those tattoos, Faith will design it for you for $1,000.
Pay for the faith.
Pay for the Faith camera. It's yours.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Just to clarify, you're just getting the design. We're not doing it for you. Unless you want that done, you don't have to pay us after that monstrosity.
No doubt.
Yeah. But it'd be fun.
I can't wait for the Faith
We're
cam.
here for it.
I can feel the email flooding right now. We want to buy a Faith cam. You feel it? Prophetic.
You feel it, Mr. Krabs?
You feel it?
You feeling it?
Okay.
All right.
Freedom.
Freedom.
Week
All right.
1. Let's go.
With freedom being the word for
Yeah.
the year for us, how did you come up with that word? Like how was that happening?
Well, I feel like for us as a church, well, I say us as a church and for the people of our church, I feel like we all want what God has in store for us.
For sure.
Everybody wants what God has in store for them. I feel like what keeps us from getting what God has in store for us is not God.
No.
It's us.
Yeah.
And I think what keeps us held back is fear, anxiety, lack of forgiveness of others, lack of forgiveness of ourselves, past regrets, burdens, financial issues. Somebody, declared bankruptcy, and so we're like, oh my gosh, I can never get past that. So I think what happens is we have things in the past that keep us trapped from moving forward into our future. And Jesus came not to keep us trapped, but to move us forward.
Yeah.
And so I feel like for us as a church even, I feel like the last 2023 has been probably one of the most difficult years for us as a church. Now, we grew as a church, tons of salvation, tons of baptisms, probably the biggest growth year of our church. That being said, we also had a lot of obstacles. Difficult getting this building, difficult getting county zoning. We're in like crazy economic times where, giving is great, but at the same time, it's like economically, people are up against it.
Yeah.
And so,
Even mom at the end of the year.
and even mom going through all of her stuff at the end of the year. I just felt like, man, we are like as a church being attacked, we as a family are being attacked. I think people in our church, hear so much that's happening in the lives of people. And I think that, here's the thing about the devil. God is all-knowing, the devil's not. God knows everything, the devil is not. But the devil is attentive and astute. And I think that the devil does not know when God's about ready to give a move, but I think he's wise enough to see where God is moving and about ready to make a move. And I think that's with Anchor Church. I think God is doing something in our church, and I think it's about ready to unleash. And the devil knows it, and I think he's throwing everything at us, which is why I think we need to have a year of freedom, which is why we're starting out with 21 days of prayer and fasting, because the Bible says that some things you can't see miracles in some areas without prayer and fasting. So I think people need to break free from whatever it is. Maybe you need to break free from anxiety. Maybe you're in a relationship right now, and the person's holding you back. Come on, if you're listening right now, if you're with a person, like you're dating somebody, and you could be a better Christian, but they're keeping you from being who you want. It. There's a job that you're in right now that is like it's not good. Your boss is like holding you back, right? And you know it. You just don't have the confidence to step forward. You don't have the confidence to leave that, that dating relationship, whatever. And so what I'm praying for in 2024 is that we would have the freedom to say whatever's in the past is in the past, and I'm moving forward down to the future God has for me. So it's not that he didn't have something in store for you, it's that you can't leave what's behind you to get to what he has in store for you. And so I think that's the word for the year. Freedom is so important for us as a church, because we can't go to where we need to go if we can't let go of where we've been.
For sure. No, I love that. I think you said it. You said it best. We all want what God's got in store for us, and that's exactly why the devil's going to do everything in his
100%.
power. And the other thing you said is the devil doesn't know everything. He's not all-knowing. God is.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing that I love to focus on is the devil doesn't know everything.
Right.
He doesn't know everything that God has in store for you, which is why he's trying to keep you in that same boat that he's in.
Exactly.
Of not knowing. But the more that we break away from what's holding us back is how we're going to figure it out.
Exactly right. And I think everyone listening right now knows that thing.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone knows that thing that's keeping you back. You know?
Yeah. Which kind of brings me to my next question. If you don't know, maybe 90% probably do know what's holding them back or that they need to be free from. But if you don't know what you need freedom from, how can you figure that out?
I would say, what is it that you dwell on? You know, something like I think for me, you know, if I was to be completely honest and vulnerable, like we started our church in faith.
Mm-hmm.
We had no money. All right, we started in faith. We didn't go with an organization to give us money. We had no money. And then, you know, Mike and Allison, they gave us a $3,000 check and said, let's build church. So we started church on faith. We live in faith. We move forward in faith. We plan in faith. We cast vision in faith. All that's done. We're a church of faith, right? We live by faith. But it's a different perspective when, for me, like I know that we walk and live by faith, but there are also the financial aspect that goes like with having a church and having staff and things like that. And so I worry about. I don't say worry. I think a lot about it. The finances of our church. Does that mean I don't trust in God? Absolutely, I trust in God. But my human side still has the insecurity of what if, and God always comes through. But you still have like the you know out there,
right?
You know what I'm talking about. Like you still have the what ifs. And I have multiple times given up that aspect of my fear, if you will, to the Lord and gone, I don't need to worry about this. Like, you love the church way more than I love the church. You love the church way more than Teresa does. Like, you called us to your church. This is God's. And if he cares about it more than I care about it, then I should probably let him take control of it. But yet I worry about it. And so that's one of the things I think that I want freedom of in this year is not being so worried about what's not happening, but be more free in what God is going to do. He's never failed us, and he never will.
Yeah.
And if he called us to this, he's never going to he's never going to leave us hanging. And, it's kind of like Abraham and Isaac. I have offered this up to God multiple times. The difference between Abraham and I is I pull it off the altar.
Right.
I put it on the altar and take it off. Abraham laid Isaac up there and didn't.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the things I think for me this year. I want freedom and going, God, it's yours.
Yeah.
It's yours. Whatever happens, it's yours. You're in control. You've got it. No matter what economic difficulties our culture's in, doesn't matter what we're up against, things that happen, we're trusting you. And I think that's probably the freedom I needed to have released into God's hands this year, is that of just the worrying about the business side or the money side of things. And just
right.
say, God, you're doing a great thing. You called us to it. You'll see us through it.
Yeah. Not so good. I think the Abraham and Isaac example is perfect.
Yeah.
Because, it's so easy to think that I need to be free from this. We'll get it done in a couple of days. Knock it out. I'll cut this ties with this relationship. It'll be all good. But that's not how it's going to work.
No. You
can think it's going to be easy, but I don't want you to think it's going to be easy and then quit as soon as it gets hard, because it will get hard.
It will get hard. Well, it's like we talked about before. It's like from a spiritual perspective, we get salvation because of Jesus' sacrifice.
Yeah.
We don't get salvation without the sacrifice. And I think the same thing in our lives. Like, we all want the salvation without the sacrifice. Mm-hmm. We all want the blessing without the burden of releasing the past. And there's blessing in it, but we see this burden. And so I think for everyone listening right now is be okay with getting salvation. Be okay with what's on the other side, recognizing you'll probably have to give something up in the bondage.
Yeah. But always remember that what you're giving up is going to be so much. Like, you're sacrificing something that's not even worth it.
Exactly.
If that's how you look at it.
Isn't that funny too? It's like, and we all say we want to do it. The hardest part is actually doing it.
Yeah.
Like, a quarter of the hard is
figuring it out.
3/4 of the hard is actually doing it.
Yeah.
And that's the part that I think is for us to find freedom. We can say right now, we can be going, I need freedom from. That's hard. But the harder part is actually walking forward and getting freedom from it.
Yeah, I would love for our church to be a church of not just sayers, but doers as well.
Great call.
That's what it needs to be.
100%.
Okay, next question then.
Okay.
So as we are to be evangelistic and teaching others about Christ and everything like that, since freedom is our word, I would expect our church to probably try and spread freedom as much as they can.
Right.
So for people who are living in sin out in the world, who are probably doing great in the eyes of the world, so people who are living very financially well and everything's going
Right.
well for them, why should they want freedom? Like, how can we tell them this is the best way to go? I know what you're doing is, you seem to be doing great, but how can we do that?
I think it's one of those things where I think everyone knows at some time they're missing something. I think that with all of us, all of us have been created with that void inside of us that can only be filled by Jesus.
Yeah.
Which is why everyone will try to fill it with something else. I think that if people don't recognize that Jesus is the only answer, they will try to fill it with anything else. I think the way to communicate that to people is if you have people in your life that seem like they have it all, I guarantee you they don't have it all.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes it's like I think just externally speaking, in my experiences, I think sometimes the people that look the richest are the people that have the least because they're more concerned with how it looks on the outside. I feel like some of the most financially wealthy people I've ever met don't even look like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think sometimes people try to mask on the outside that they have it all together when on the inside they're broken down. So if the people on the outside are the ones that probably around you, if they look like they have it the most together, maybe the ones that actually don't. But the ones that live that vulnerability to go, man, I don't have Jesus today. There's no way I'm gonna get through the day.
Yeah.
And so I would say maybe the way to communicate to people or the way to love on people is just like, man, I notice like, you got a lot of stuff going on. Can I pray for you? I think, can I pray for you is a great way to open a conversation. And then you'll find out a lot of vulnerability. And people may say no.
Yeah.
I've had people say no, but most of the time people will, sure, how can I pray for you? And so I think maybe one of those things, I think the worst way to go about it is like, man, you seem like you have everything, you probably have nothing. That's probably the worst way to go about it. But just like, if you have friends in your life that just, you're close enough to have a conversation with, just go, man, have you ever thought about, like, I just know.
Yeah.
Like, you got a lot going on. Have you ever thought about Jesus to help you manage all that you got going on? There could be ways like that kind of break the ice, or just invite them to church even. But there are some ways to get people to understand. I would say majority of people know they're missing something.
Yeah.
I remember the interview Tom Brady did years ago.
Yeah.
I've got one Super Bowl, I've got this, but something's missing. Even Tom Brady knew. He had a really ugly wife.
He had
Just kidding.
He had nothing going for him.
But I mean, I remember him just going, I don't know what I'm doing all this for. Case in point, he may have everything, but at the end of the day, he realizes I'm missing something.
Yeah.
And you look at a lot of celebrities, Jim Carrey, some of these guys that had, in our eyes, everything.
Robin Williams.
Yeah. But, commit suicide. Oh, man, what happened? Well, he looked like he had it all. But I think there was a facade to look like everything's going great when you know on the inside it's really not.
Yeah.
And so I think just being vulnerable to people, just go, hey, you got a lot going on. Have you ever thought about Jesus to help you manage all you got going on? There could be some conversations like that that open the door to people to realize that, they are missing something. They don't know what, but they are.
Well, the reason I asked that question is because I feel like there's probably so many people at home right now who just need to hear that because they've had a person on their heart for a while and didn't know how to bring it up or ask or whatever.
Right. So
this is your call to charge, I guess. This is just your encouragement that just ask someone for prayer. It's coming from someone who's had this experience. Don't miss out on an opportunity because you don't know when it'll be the last.
And I think, buddy, like as you said that, like if God puts someone in your heart, there's a reason God put them on your heart. And I, first in ministry, when God would put somebody on my heart, I would, oh my gosh, God put him on my heart, I'll pray for him. Now I reach out, I text, I call.
Yeah.
There's a guy that has gone through a lot of stuff, and I reached out to him over Christmas, and he was just like, you have no idea how much it means to me that, you reached out. But if God puts someone in your heart, there's probably a reason. Like you said, don't miss the opportunity to give someone freedom just because of your lack of confidence or fear of what they might say.
Yeah. No, that's perfect. Okay, so you talked about God's wrath in the message as getting freedom will save us from God's wrath.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate a little bit more on what God's wrath is, kind of what's a healthy fear of God as well? and why we should be scared of God's wrath.
Yeah, in the original language, Romans, book of Romans talks about Jesus being the propitiation of our sin. The propitiation actually means the substitute of God's wrath. The sacrifice of God to receive the wrath of God, right? So Jesus was our propitiation for our sin. What that means is God's wrath is not on you. God's wrath is on sin. God hates sin. The Bible says God hates sin. God hates sin because of what it does to us. It separates us from Him, divides us from Him, kills us, sends us to hell. It does everything to us that's completely opposite. If you think sin empties, God fills, right?
Yeah.
Sin destroys, God gives. Sin separates, God unifies. So everything sin does to us is the complete opposite of what God does in us, which is why He hates it, right? Which is why when Adam and Eve sinned, God immediately shows up and has a plan of restoration because He hated the fact that my creation is now separated from me. And so I think this is one of those uncomfortable topics that people don't want to talk about, God's wrath, because they think God's wrath is on them, right? It's not on them, it's on their sin. God hates sin. And so Jesus, when He took on our sin, took on God's wrath. Wasn't that God was mad at Jesus, He was mad at our sin. And so Jesus took on all the sin of the world, which means He took on all of God's wrath.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful part of the sacrifice of Jesus that we don't understand, is not only did He take on our sin, He took on God's wrath.
Wow. Yeah.
All the wrath of God on sin was all on Jesus.
Yeah.
Which is why Jesus says, my God, why have you forsaken me? Why has this happened to me? Why have you looked away from me? It's because you just took on all the sins of the world that were and that would come and took on the wrath of God in the process.
Wow.
Not that God was mad at Him. Remember, God said, this is my only son. I love him.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at him. I'm madly in love with him, but I'm angry at the sin, right?
Right.
And so Jesus took on the wrath of God for us, the wrath of God towards our sin. He was the propitiation for our sin. It's kind of like when you and Alyssa were younger, you guys still to this day are like, whenever we got hurt, Dad would always get mad at us, right? And I wasn't mad at you. I love you. It was like, you dumb kids, right? It was like we would see you do something, and we're like, dude, don't do that. You're gonna get hurt. And then you get hurt, and I would get mad. Why is Dad mad at us? I wasn't mad at you. I love you. I was mad at the situation because we could have kept you from getting hurt, right? So I wasn't mad at you. I was mad at what happened to you. I think it's the same thing if you think about the wrath of God. God's not mad at you. Oh my gosh. If God was mad at you, He would never send Jesus for you.
Yeah.
For God so loved the world that He gave His only Son. The only Son He had. He gave His only Son. That doesn't sound like wrath to me. That sounds like love to me. But He gave it because He hated sin. He gave Him because He hated sin. And so I think that's the idea of the wrath of God. The wrath of God is not on you. The wrath of God is on sin. And Jesus took on all the sin, which means He took on all the wrath so that we wouldn't have it. Which is a pretty amazing.
That is pretty crazy.
So God's not mad at you because His wrath is gone. Like His wrath was on sin. So it's kind of a cool concept, you know. The
that
wrath
is
of
cool.
God.
Yeah, and it's a shame that nobody talks about it because it is such a prevalent thing in the Bible.
It's beautiful. It's horrible and beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful for us that Jesus took on for us. You know, because I mean, have you ever had like somebody get mad at you and like you see someone get mad and you're like, when they get mad, holy cow.
Yeah.
Like they get mad. Like you don't want to see such and such get mad. I would think if there's anyone you don't want to get mad, it might be God.
Look at the 10 plagues. I mean, if that's that's a little bit of God's wrath.
A little bit,
Yeah.
you know? And He was mad at it because Pharaoh wouldn't let his people leave because they were in bondage, because God hates bondage.
Yeah.
So He's like, dude, I'm a God of freedom, and if you're not going to let my people be free, then you're going to experience my wrath.
Yep.
And it's not that I hate you, it's that I hate bondage, I hate sin. And so I think it's pretty cool concept that, you know, God loves us that much that He would put all of that on Jesus, and Jesus would take all of that on and for us.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, definitely. All right, here's my last one.
Okay.
In order for us to be free, we have to say goodbye to the old life after asking for a new one. So how can we make sure that we say goodbye to the old one for good?
That's a great question. I think what you have to realize is I have to love salvation more than I love sin. I think you have to love following Jesus more than you love following the world. And that's what's tough. I think because we say yes to Jesus, because we want to be following Jesus, and then we get back into the world, and the world looks way too attractive. And I think the way for us to encounter that, or to live that, is to love salvation more than you love sin. Which is tough.
Yeah.
Which is tough, because sin is so enticing.
It is, because it's everything you could want on this world.
Exactly.
It's everything that the world tells you is fun and attractive and fulfilling.
Yes.
And it does none of those things.
And temporary.
Yeah.
So I think the way to do it is, in the world, when you encounter stuff that just looks like it's too good to be true.
It is.
Probably too good to be true.
Yeah.
Jesus is everything you ever wanted. Salvation is everything you ever wanted. And the only way to have freedom is through Jesus. And I think at some point in time, we're going to have to fall more in love with being saved than being in sin.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to give an example here. Yeah, Faith has one. 5 minutes. She's giving us 5 minutes. I thought she had a question. Faith, do you have a question? Do you have a good example, Faith? What would be the example I have? Okay, I'm gonna give an example right now. Mom's car is a very tiny car.
That it is.
Very tiny car. She loves her car. She's a tiny woman. I have a larger car because I'm a bigger man. I drove Teresa's car for a few days while she was in the hospital because I'm like, we need to run her car, right?
Yeah.
So I run her car, drive her car. Killed me. My back hurt. I'm like, I'm on a moped. And then I get my car, right? I don't ever want to get back in her car, right? Because once I experience the freedom I have in my car,
Yeah.
I never want to cram myself back into a little tiny car. I think it's an issue with, it's like, why would you ever, after you experience the legroom of freedom? My car is way higher than Teresa's car. I have a better vantage point and viewpoint than her car. I can't see squat in her car. I'm like, I am trapped in traffic and I can't see where to go. My car, I'm higher, so I have an SUV so I can see. Why would I ever want to lose vision once I have it? My car's a much smoother ride. It's a more expensive car. Why would I ever want to go back to something that's inexpensive and cheap than something I have that cost him everything? I think that example of why would I ever want to go back to what cramps my style, hinders my vision, and feels so cheapened when I have something that gives me vision, gives me a new vantage point, gives me a better ride, gives me a better experience. Why would I ever want to go back to driving that car? I will drive that car if I have to.
Yeah.
But I don't have to because someone else is driving it for me.
Yeah.
So I would think that's the experience. Once you experience Jesus and salvation, why would you ever want to go back to sin?
Yep.
You have a new vantage point, you have a new life, you have a new experience. You have something that's no longer cheapened, but feels like you have something that's limitless and intentionally loved. Why would you ever go back to that old?
For sure. Yeah.
And I think you have to love that more than sin.
Yeah.
And look at it like, I never want to go back to that because now I have that. I think that's the way to look at freedom.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. I think you always just have to constantly weigh the costs in your head.
100%.
It's like, do I want to be protected or do I want to go fast?
Yeah.
Do I want complete freedom or do I want this because it's more sleek?
Right.
Do you want what do you want? And freedom in Jesus should win 10 times out of 10.
Always.
It always should, but sometimes the fastness of this car. But when you think about something going fast, you also think about just being exhausted at the end of it.
Yeah.
So even everything that comes with freedom is that.
Yeah.
It's freedom.
Yeah.
It's enjoyable.
Yeah.
When you look at fast, it might be great in the moment, but
Yeah.
you're exhausted
Yeah.
afterwards.
I
You're
look
depleted,
at
then
a
you-
Porsche or Ferrari. I'm like,
Yeah.
that would be the greatest car on the planet. I can't fit in a Porsche or Ferrari.
Right.
There's no way 6'3", 6'4" is fitting. Like, I would love to, but it's not. It looks awesome and it looks fast. It'd be completely uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I think that's what life offers to us. Sin offers to you. That looks so sexy. Oh my gosh, you can't fit in it.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't match you. It's not for you. It looks awesome, but it's not for you.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way we got to look at life sometimes and go, man, you want this, but Jesus came to give you that.
Yeah.
Stop being so electrified by what the world offers you that's temporary, as opposed to being gratified by what's eternal.
Yeah.
And satisfied.
So good.
That's what it's about.
So
So
good.
that's freedom.
Freedom.
Freedom from.
Yeah. Season 2, episode 1.
Season 2, episode 1. How'd it go, Faith? Did we stay on time? Excellent. Hold on, Faith Cam. Faith Cam. Hey, we love everybody. Have a great week. We'll see you next time. Well, hey, everybody. We hope you loved this episode of Afterthought. If you did like it, make sure you can comment. Let us know your thoughts. Share it with a friend. Hey, we're dropping new material every single Wednesday.
Yeah, we know you like the video, so leave a like and subscribe because, like you said, we're gonna have a video coming every Wednesday. Turn on those notifications so you know when it comes out.
Yeah.
Check it out.
See you next week.